Hello there, and welcome to the Disgustingly Healthy Relationship Podcast. I'm Lewis.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are your hosts.
Beautiful people, it's 2024. We are no longer settling for mediocre, toxic, and shitty relationships.
Instead, we are choosing healthy, secure, and conscious love.
Lewis and I are here to challenge and expand you on all fronts when it comes to healthy relationships.
So, if you're ready for unfiltered conversations
and massive impact,
then let's play.
Oh yeah, it's me doing the intro. You can't trust me with the intro. So Lewis was like excited for me to do the intro, and yeah, I forgot I was waiting for him to do it.
I literally gave you the nod. I was like, yep.
I know, I don't know
You're
what
like,
I thought.
What am I doing?
It's quite late that we're doing a podcast, actually. It's like 7:20 in the evening, so maybe I'm just a bit, yeah.
That's okay, no excuses.
Okay, then yeah. I'm sorry.
Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. That's what
There you go, that's better.
That's what you were waiting for. That was what the nod was all about.
It was. So, this week's theme is...
What would we call it? We didn't give it a name.
No, we didn't give it a name. We're pretty much just talking about the emotions that we've been feeling this week.
That kind of sounds... I don't know. It's more just like we are talking about the importance of speaking up.
Yeah, speaking up whenever something arises and doing it in the moment instead of letting it fester for a few days, hours, weeks, months, years, I guess.
It doesn't always have to be in the moment, though. I'll give you more context, but I think sometimes if you say something in the moment, it can be too emotionally charged. So like as soon as you can, once you're regulated. But anyway, let's expand. Let's dive deep into what the hell we're talking about.
Yes. So this week has been quite challenging for me personally, physically and emotionally. We've had a lot on this week, and physically with my work, it's been really, really demanding. And then having to come home and pick up some of the chores and take care of the dogs and take care of Sarah. It's just been, I don't know, this week I've really been feeling it. And so I worked Saturday as well. So Monday to Saturday. And when I got home on Saturday, I was taking a shower and I just felt this overwhelming sensation of like, just all of these emotions were just arising. And I was in the shower with the door open and Sarah and I were just chatting, and I just said that I felt really upset. I feel like I've had a challenging week. I felt like I was going to burst out crying, really.
No.
And in that moment, I was just thinking, maybe not in the moment. I'd had maybe a day or two to think about it. And as soon as I said to Sarah, I said, look, I'm feeling quite emotional. I feel like I've been a little bit underappreciated this week. I feel like I've worked so hard during the day and then came home and then had to work even harder.
I've been ill, just to give you a bit more context.
Yeah, so Sarah's been a bit sick. Sorry, I should have said that at the start.
I've just not been completely slack for no reason.
And
oh my God, sorry.
Sorry, our dog is just Finley's chasing around a little cockroach.
Oh my God, ew.
BRB. Sorry, guys, we just had to pause that for a slight little interim as we were catching bugs. But it turns out our little chihuahua is great at catching cockroaches.
Yeah, hopefully that we don't have to use that tool very often.
No, absolutely not.
That skill.
That's the first one I've seen, really.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm glad Finley got it.
Anyway,
maybe he's just like opened up like a whole nest of them or something. No, I'm joking.
I hope not, please.
No way.
It'll give you nightmares.
Yeah, I know. Why did I say that?
Anyway, let's get back to it. So Sarah has been quite sick the past week, and
very sick.
I was feeling the weight of the world, it felt like, and I was picking up a lot of slack. And then we had one of the busiest weeks that we've ever had at work as well to top that up. And yeah, I was just feeling it. And I was really, typically in the past, I would have just shut down all of those emotions and just buried it and not even said anything because I felt either too embarrassed or ashamed, or felt like I wasn't worthy of getting any sympathy because, you know, I have to be the man and have to be strong and have to fight for everything. and just pick up the slack as and when. And typically I do, but this week has just been a lot. So I opened up and I said, Sarah, look, I am feeling it. I am feeling a little underappreciated. Um, and it's making me a bit upset. Uh, did I say I felt like I felt a bit unloved?
I think
I
you did,
did.
because that was the first thing that I said when we were talking about it just now, and I feel like
Yeah,
you did say that.
yeah.
Yeah, you
I
did, because
think
I remember thinking, "Oh my God, that's an awful way to feel. Like, I'm so sorry."
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
you definitely did.
Yeah, with Sarah being a bit sick, we've had a bit of a lack of connection. So Sarah's been quite irritable when I've been touching her. So
Even like my arm tickles
yeah,
normally. I'm
usually you
like,
love that,
oh,
and I try it, and you're just like, get off me. I'm like,
it's like,
oh,
yeah,
okay. So any bids for connection I felt like I've put out this week have just been knocked back.
rejected. Yeah.
Um,
I've been really hot as well. Like my temperature's been really high. So I'm just like, oh, like, yeah, I don't know if you've ever been sick and had a high temperature, listeners, but like everything's just like, like, just get off me. I'm too hot and uncomfortable.
it's just a lot. So yeah, that's one example that we found that this week. I think it's quite important to talk about, especially as a guy. Like, if you cannot seek solace in your partner and you feel quite lonely in that moment, those emotions are going to build up and build up. So you really have to be strong about facing that fear of and facing that judgment or and getting over that barrier of potential shame or whatever you're feeling is really important because it means that you value yourself, your own emotions, and your own values. And your partner's not going to sit back and judge you for that. They're going to actually do the opposite and help support you.
Or at least give them the opportunity to. Like, I do think there is no guarantee. Like, you
No,
obviously on a whim can, communicate how you're feeling, and how your partner responds. I guess it isn't necessarily guaranteed.
no. And it's also up to you to react in an appropriate way. Um, and manage your own emotions and see them for what they are instead of reacting in the moment. But we both know I'm quite emotionally reactive or can be. I
I
think
wouldn't say that.
I think oh,
That's interesting.
that is interesting actually. Why did I just say
I
that?
don't know. You're not
We had a
reactive.
conversation last time about um acting out of emotion when something happens. You think you react out of logic, and I'm more
Is
of
that what you
like,
mean? Okay.
yeah.
In
Does that
my
make
head
sense?
then when you said that, I thought you meant like you act angrily,
No, no,
or
no, no,
like,
no,
you feel anger and you act and you show anger. Like, I was thinking that is not you,
no, 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 no,
but you
no.
just mean that you make decisions
I
based
make
on
decisions
emotions.
based on emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Sorry,
say
that's a better way of framing it.
reactive is like in the instant
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
almost.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have another example of that happened today, actually, with a meter maid
Is that even the right word? A meter maid?
or a traffic warden, should I say?
Or is there no a maid
Is that a
female
derogatory, like,
discriminatory
is that a derogatory word?
what warden?
Yeah. Well, no,
A
sorry,
maid?
a meter maid
I would say so
because
because maid is implying it's a female.
well, she was a female.
Yeah, but like, why should they be defined by their gender in their job? Like, surely it's just
Maybe it's
enforcement officer.
maybe it is slang, yeah.
I've never heard of meter maid until you said it.
No. Who was it that said someone mentioned that to me? I'm not sure. Anyway.
You've been spending too much time with like bogan Aussies or
Bogan
something.
Mozzies. Yeah, I think
Now
so.
we're being derogatory.
Now that is a derogatory term.
In case you don't know what bogan means, if you're listening from another country other than Australia, it essentially means like a chav, like a
Like a
common person, I guess. So it's very
country bumpkin.
judgy.
Yeah, I guess. But yes, that example we will leave until later on in the show because it ties in well with something else. Anyway, um, so yeah, this week has been quite heavy.
What did you get then? Tell them why it was helpful for you to communicate to me.
I felt like the weight of there was a big weight that came off my shoulders whenever I expressed how I was feeling, and then I was met with not judgment, but with love and support, which I'm very grateful for.
Thanks. It wasn't meant to
Because
be
no,
fishing for compliments.
not at
But
all.
thanks.
But like it does feel so foreign still. Even
Hmm.
now, sometimes it feels foreign.
Yeah. Takes a
Um,
while to reprogram, doesn't it?
yeah, I mean, I spent so many years avoiding that,
Mm.
and it's really been challenging to flip the narrative and get back into a different way of thinking. Um, but absolutely getting there. I'm looking back on it and I'm like, I'm really proud of how far I've came in such a short space of time. Because I feel like even 2 years ago, I think I still would have suppressed all of that emotion.
What's the cost of that for you?
My mental health, I
Cost to
think.
you mental health or
Yeah.
suppress your emotions?
Yeah. If I
Okay.
suppress my emotions, then I get really down on myself. I get depressed. I get anxious about making any decisions in case it's the right or the wrong one. And yeah, I think it cost me my mental health.
That's a very expensive cost.
It is.
It's not worth staying quiet for, is it? To keep the
Absolutely
peace.
not. No. And you'd rather someone see all of you than none of you.
I'd be annoyed if you didn't say, not annoyed, that's the wrong word, but I'd be like, maybe disappointed or hurt or confused as to why you didn't say
Yeah.
how you were feeling.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, do you not feel safe enough? Do
Mm.
you not think you'll get the right support? Do you not think you'll be heard? Like,
Yeah.
I would take it personally, mate.
Mm.
Nah, I think I would maybe not take it personally, but I would be questioning, like, oh, is it me then? Like, what role did I play in this kind of thing?
Yeah, of course. But I think it stems from like a self-worth standpoint too, I
What,
think.
for me?
For me.
Oh, right. What do you mean?
For me. Like I've often struggled with my own self-worth and feeling worthy and feeling enough for
Hmm.
people. So whenever I express emotion, then I feel like that is like my self-worth is going to take a hit, but it actually does the adverse and
Oh,
actually increases my self-worth.
that's interesting. I thought you were going to say you don't feel like you're worthy of being heard or seen, but you mean that you're worried that your self-worth will take a hit by sharing. That's
Mhm.
interesting. That was a different spin on what I thought you were going to say.
But what you also said
Or what I
is
also said applies.
completely applies
Yeah, okay.
too, you know?
Self-worth on all the levels.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I guess like the whole point of that is just to reinforce the importance of speaking up,
speaking up.
like so that things don't fester, but also so that you get the support that you deserve too. Like
Yeah.
in a healthy relationship, your partner should want to support you and want you to not feel the discomfort that you're feeling. And a partner that gaslights you or makes you feel like you're being dramatic or minimizes your experience has a lot of work to do.
Mm.
Um, and that's isn't a very supportive partner at all.
Mhm.
So if you're on the flip side, if you're in the me position, where you're receiving that information from your partner, where they've, plucked up the courage to tell you how they're feeling, as I don't know how to like express how important it is, but like you better make sure that you're listening
Mhm.
and that you're there to validate their experience, because as Lewis is saying, like especially as a guy as well, it's really hard to pluck up the courage for a lot of people to have those conversations about like big feelings and
Mhm.
emotions, and yeah, like I'm saying, especially with being a guy. So listen, validate, ask what they need and give it to them, because yeah, as a good partner you should want the best for your partner too, and everyone has bad days. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and like I own my partner, I have done less this week, and which makes sense, and it's just one of those things, isn't it, when you're not well.
Hmm.
So I was more than happy to say, like, I'm sorry, I hate that you've been feeling unloved, and I'm sorry that you've been feeling underappreciated. Like, what do you need? How do I fix this? I don't want you to feel that way.
Hmm.
um yeah, so it's really important to, like, if I wasn't that, Lewis obviously knows that that's the kind of response that I'm going to give. So it definitely helps to make him feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And thank God he is comfortable to have those conversations, because as he said, his mental health would be jeopardized if he didn't. So then both of us would lose. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if he didn't speak his truth, it would impact us both, directly to him and indirectly to me anyway. So it's better to be the partner that provides the space for your partner to share and open up and be a bit more vulnerable, because yeah, it'll save the relationship in that respect.
For sure. I think it's something just as a caveat to that. I think on the flip side as well, um, if you're the person receiving that information from your partner, try and look at it through a lens of it's not criticism, it's not
Good point.
um you. it's how your partner is feeling, and trying to see through that can be quite difficult. So just bear that in mind when having that conversation, and try and use it as a learning opportunity. I know it's difficult in the time when it's uncomfortable to hear, and it is uncomfortable to hear that you don't want to hear that your partner feels unloved in a certain time. It's awful to hear, but just make sure that most of the time it's not you, and try and see that see that for what it is.
When you say make sure it's not you, what do you mean?
It's in like, what do I mean by that? Sorry, I'm just ruminating. Because you can like,
Make sure it's not you. You've lost your train of thought.
I've lost my train of thought, yeah, because the
The
dogs
dog's
bark,
barking.
dogs are barking. Um,
Bloody dogs, honestly, every podcast.
every time you don't get a moment's peace around here.
I know, it's so annoying, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, we both had like a little bit of a story on the topic of like speaking up soon, or as soon as you can. Like I said, soon as you're regulated. So yeah, my story, it was actually, was it this week? Yeah, it was this week.
Yeah.
It was the weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Lewis has not got the best memory and quite often forgets things that I've said. Even when I send calendar invites, we'll miss it sometimes. So I've been feeling a little bit frustrated, and maybe like if it feels to me, and I'm not saying this is his intention and he knows this, but it sometimes feels to me like he doesn't care because he doesn't take the time to listen to what I've said or read what I've said in a message or check the calendar. So I perceive that as him not caring, and we know that that's not true. I know he cares. So that's something that he's working on. But because I already had the narrative in my head that he doesn't care and he's not listening to me, over the weekend, I can't even remember the exact specific example of it now. And this isn't like a big deal. It's just like, this is just to give an example to you of like how we practice speaking up in our relationship. But yeah, over the weekend, there was an example where I said something and you ignored me. So I said it, I asked you a question and you ignored me. I think it was like, what color laundry shall we do?
That's the one.
Are we doing colors or whites? And you ignored me. And I said, hello, are we doing colors or whites? And you ignored me again. And then I had to say it for the third time. And then you ignored me. And I was like, oh my God, like, why are you ignoring me? Like, why are you not listening to me? I literally had to say this 3 times. So I was like feeling really frustrated. And then you said something like, haha, I was just trying to wind you up. And I was like, oh my God, is he fucking serious? He's trying to wind me up by not listening to me when I've already communicated to him that he's not listening to me, or I feel not listened to.
Not my smartest move.
No, it's okay. So I was raging. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just pick the whites. Fuck what he thinks anyway. So I went and did put the laundry on, and like we have a separate laundry like area. So I went there, did the laundry, was like sorting that for a few minutes. So I was away from him. I was like, oh, like just like I was feeling really triggered. So just calmed myself down and then came back into the house, and I could feel myself like annoyed at him, just like I could just feel in my energy that I was still a bit pissed off. And I was just answering questions with one words, and I was like, oh no, like this isn't how we do things around here anymore. And like old me in previous relationships would have just carried that through the whole day. I would have just felt annoyed and felt that resentment and let it infiltrate the whole day, carried it all through like every conversation, just been like quiet, cold, distant, and giving one word answers. And then, you know, as a result, my partner at the time in the previous relationship would have then started doing the same, you know, giving one word answers and being cold and distant. And then that would trigger me even more because that would trigger my anxiousness. And then it would just be like such a big mess. So as soon as I caught myself in that space with Lewis the other day on the weekend, I was like, oh, no, hang on a minute. We don't do that here. Like I was calm enough at this point to have a conversation with him. So I just walked up to him and I said, hey, when you pretended to ignore me earlier, that really hurt my feelings and it made me really feel like you don't care. And especially as we'd had conversations about you not listening to me, please don't do that again. It's not funny. And you were like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean it. Like you were like, oh shit. You're like, yeah, shit, not my smartest move or something like that. You said at the time as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's okay. And I still was feeling anger. Like you know, someone saying sorry straight away doesn't shift or dissipate your anger if it still is a little bit kind of inside you. So I took maybe another 5 or 10 minutes of just pottering, and then I was like, oh, right, shake it off, like let it go. It's not really worth, yeah, like I said, ruining your whole day or carrying it through the whole day and making it more of a thing than it needed to be. But that is because I knew that Lewis would respond in a way that was apologetic, genuine, sincere, and that wouldn't belittle me or make me feel small for bringing up, because it's a petty thing, isn't it? Like it's not, to me it didn't feel like it, obviously, but like in the grand scheme of life, him pretending he couldn't hear me like a couple of times, like it's not really the end of the world. But like if Lewis hadn't accepted ownership over that, I would have been carrying that story not only with me for the rest of the day that he doesn't listen to me, but that probably would have been a bias that I would have created about him. Like he never listens to me. And then all of a sudden something else happens and I'm like, oh, here we go again. See, you never listen to me. And it becomes this big contemptuous situation that just doesn't need to happen. So yeah, like you said, sorry, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be pissed off for another 5 minutes and then we're gonna carry on another day and everything's gonna be good. Cool. Okay,
That's
cool.
exactly what we did.
Yeah, and like, we're fine. It's like I said, it's not a big deal, but at the time it feels like it. And it's really important that you don't just dismiss it in that moment as not important or not worth bringing up, because one, you're not giving your partner an opportunity to show up for you and to apologize and to own their shit. And two, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to get like some acknowledgement or validation or maybe some support that you deserve. And three, yeah, it can manifest into something bigger than it needs to be when it was just meant to be a silly joke, basically, on your part, wasn't it?
Yeah. Gosh.
So there's like every reason basically to have these what are perceived to be uncomfortable conversations.
Mm. Could you imagine not having these conversations and just being pissed off at each other all the time?
Yeah, I did it. I've done it in my past relationship, and
Mm.
it just became so bitter and resentful.
Mm.
And what would end up happening is that I'd probably end up having like I'd snap by crying, not like in an angry way, like I'd snap by crying and just like having this really dysregulated emotional outburst.
Mm.
Which would then trigger my partner at the time as well, then, because he already had feelings of not being good enough. So it just would be so
Vicious
messy,
cycle.
yeah. But
Sounds
then I would be leaning in to try and get the
repair.
validation, no, to try and get the validation that I would need. But then
Mm.
because he was feeling so not good enough, he wasn't able to be that person to support me.
Mm.
So we were just like literally butting heads, just like I'm like, see me and like validate me. And he's like, fuck, you always make me feel like I'm not good enough. And I'm like, you're not being good enough right now. And then yeah, it can get so messy and
Yeah.
unnecessarily as well. Because the antidote to this is literally just have the uncomfortable conversation.
Literally, I know.
Yeah, and be the better partner. Like be the partner, better partner is not the right word. Be the partner that responds in a way that is validating and reassuring and that is actively listening to what your partner is saying. Don't start thinking about what you're going to say next or how you're going to defend yourself and how you're going to blame them and turn it on them. Like just listen and just think about how you can accept ownership or like say sorry or accept your part in the situation. You'll have a
Yeah.
much happier relationship for it.
Mm.
Trust me.
Absolutely. There's a lesson in everything, really, isn't there? So, yeah.
There's a lesson in everything. Wow.
Whoa.
Deep.
Oh
Whoa,
my God, I can't.
you were gonna say I'm so deep, and your voice went really weirdly deep. What
Yeah.
just
I
happened?
was gonna say that I'm modern day philosopher, but I'm absolutely not. By saying there's a lesson in everything. It's like something your granny
Oh
says to you that
no, no, it's like everything happens for a reason. It's like one of those
makes me feel sick.
platitudes, isn't it? One of
Mm.
those shit things that people say when you're going through the worst time of your life. Also, I've definitely done that in my past. I will hold my hand up and
Yep,
say guilty as fucking charged.
me too.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my story and Lewis's story and why speaking up ASAP is important. Yeah,
Yeah, please try it as best you can.
please try.
And let us know how you go.
Yeah,
We'd
give
like
us
to
some
hear from
feedback.
more of you as well.
Yes, please.
Anyway, moving on to our next segment,
Tip of the week.
tip of the week. So pretty much what we've just been talking about. Tip of the week this week is just recognizing a feeling as it arises and naming it there and then. This can definitely help you develop a greater awareness of how you can navigate the situation that is presented at any given moment. So pretty much what we've just said throughout this podcast so far, um, I've helped it's helped me to name the emotion that arises, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's overwhelm, that's anxiety, that's sadness, that's loneliness, it's really helped me to develop in my head, okay, cool, this is how I'm feeling in this moment. How can I deal with it? And not quickly, but what is my next step
Yeah.
going to be, and how am I going to take aligned action towards that?
You ever heard the saying, you've got to name it to tame it?
I've never actually heard that. Hey,
Yeah, so it's in the context of emotions, name them to tame them.
there you go. Names.
It's almost like you dissipate the emotion slightly
Mm,
when you acknowledge its existence. Because what you resist persists. Yep,
yeah,
I've probably said that one a million times. So it's
yeah,
like if you're going to resist the emotion, it's going to continually persist on being, insist on being heard, basically.
yeah,
In the same way that, like, if you, withhold like difficult conversations with your partner, it's going to continue to persist to be a problem until you actually acknowledge the problem's existence, or in your tip of the week's case, the emotions
yeah.
existence.
There you go.
Inspirational.
Thank you. So kind.
So weird moment of the week is next. Do you have one for me?
Weird moment of the week.
Please tell me you've got
I
one.
do, yeah.
Oh, it's a miracle. It's a
I
miracle.
do.
Christmas miracle.
It is a Christmas miracle. So Sarah's weird moment of the week this week is, as you all know,
Oh
Sarah has
no.
been a little bit ill this week,
Oh no, what have I done?
and she had very large, angry cold sores that made her look like she's went to a
Mm.
dodgy aesthetic
It literally looked
lip
like I
filler
had lip
place.
filler.
I'm not even kidding. They were give Kim Kardashian a run for her money, I tell you that.
So sore. I was just like, why? Like I've
Oh,
I've had the odd cold sore like over the last maybe 3 years. I had three. No, I have four now. One's gone, but another one's come. I'm like, are you serious? And like I've had cold sore patches on religiously. I think I've spent like $60 on cold sore patches in the last week.
yeah.
And yeah, they're just very angry. So it did look like I had lip filler.
But yeah, waking up to Kim Kardashian lips and well, I think it was Wednesday morning. I was like, oh, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. So yeah, that was my weird moment of the week. What's mine?
Thank you. Well, mine was like, I don't know if many people will get this because probably not many people drink matcha.
Maybe,
But
maybe not.
yeah, so basically, like I bought coconut milk, and Lewis bought me a milk frother, which was really sweet. And I bought matcha powder, and I bought this like lavender syrup because I wanted to make my own matchas at home because I've stopped drinking coffee. So I was like, oh, well, how am I gonna? And I love matcha lattes now. But
Mm.
like when we do our Sunday morning ritual in bed of having a coffee, I was like, well, I can't have a coffee now. I don't want a green tea. Like I just wanted something a bit more special. So anyway, we bought this whole set to make matcha lattes at home. And then Lewis, he's in the kitchen for like 10 minutes, bless him. Like I've made it hard for him. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like a coffee pod in a machine. It's like mix this with this, add this, do this way, put the milk in the frother. Like it's not easy, but he comes back in the room and my matcha latte, which is going to be like a frothy milky latte, just looks like pond water.
Yeah, it looked like Shrek's piss, really.
God, yeah, I don't know what Shrek's piss would look like, but if it did look like something,
Mm.
then it would look like that. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was like, oh, like, what have you, like, thank you. Tasted it. I'm like, oh, it tastes a bit like water.
And I'm like, yeah, that's what it is, though, right?
Yeah, it's just like I've put the water right the way up to the top handle and then just a dash of milk. And I'm like, hang on a minute. So we bought a milk frother and you've added a dash of milk. Did you froth? Oh my God. Did you
Froth.
froth the dash of milk? You're like, no. What the fuck?
Well, I didn't because last week I did it and nothing happened anyway, so I didn't bother. So I just like,
So yeah, I went into the kitchen and I was like, I think I'm just gonna try it and see do it the proper way and see what it looks and tastes like. And
yeah.
then I did it and I was like, oh my God, that's so much better. And then I looked at the glass that the other one was in and like all the matcha had like sank to the bottom and it was just like pure water at
Mm,
the top and then matcha the powder all sitting at the bottom.
yuck.
But yeah, I was like, oh, I couldn't even be mad at him. I wouldn't be mad at you for that, but I was just like, oh,
No.
next time we'll know.
Also, I love the fact that I bought myself a milk frother for you so I can make your matchas in the morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got to put your effort into that Sunday morning ritual.
Princesses.
Yeah, you knew what you were getting.
I did, yeah.
I told you that from the beginning. I
Hmm.
was honest.
You were honest, to be fair. I
I was
didn't
honest. You think I was
quite know
lying?
to the extent.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Oh dear.
joking.
Oh
I'm
dear.
joking. All right, so what is your pit of the week?
Well, you've already told everyone. Oh God, yawn. Sorry. That's probably not very nice to listen to, is it? Big yawn in your ear if you're listening
No,
with
absolutely
headphones in.
not.
Sorry about that. My pit is my cold sores. Yeah, and I get a bit run down when I have one. So having three is just it's just knocked me.
Not
So
for six, is it?
I was gonna say that, but then what does that even mean?
I'm actually not sure. We'll look it up.
I don't like sometimes these like sayings are actually like offensive and like they've derived from something like to do with homophobia or slavery or like so I don't like to say these things now because I'm just like, what does that even oh Lewis is Googling it. What does knocked
Google
you
it.
for six mean?
What does
It's
it
a
mean? It
British thing.
means
Okay, so maybe Aussies wouldn't even know what it
yeah,
means.
to add I don't know what it is. To shock or upset someone very much or
To
to
make
make
someone
someone
very
very
ill.
ill.
The news of his death knocked me for six. But why six? What's the number
Yeah.
six got to do with it? That doesn't really explain it.
Where does it come from?
Oh.
To hit the ball outside of the boundary gives you an automatic 6 points.
So it's from
So it's
baseball.
from baseball. So if you hit a home run, which means the ball goes out of the park, knocked you for six.
Okay, so hit me far.
So it hit you far
Yeah.
and gain lots of points.
I
But
did not feel like I gained points. I felt
no,
like I was losing.
no,
Just to be clear, there was no
yeah.
winning going on.
Well, it hits you out of the ballpark. So
I was
like
I
if
was
you get
knocked
ill,
out the
you're
ballpark.
knocked
I was
out.
the ball. I got smacked.
There you go. Yeah, you get
That's what it means.
smashed.
Yeah, I was the ball.
Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, that was my pit. What was your pit?
My pit was just having a really physically demanding week.
Oh, you haven't mentioned. Sorry, I just wanted to try a bit of
Excuse me.
invalidation. I'm joking. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm back in
I
my
was
box.
even that upset with my physically demanding week on Saturday. I told you about it. Now you're throwing it in my face.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was showing off. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
Anyway, I had a very demanding week.
You did. You did. You did.
I'm gonna leave it there. And oh my God, I keep on glitching tonight.
Broken.
Anyway, Floobie Wabadoo.
That was your sim talk,
It
wasn't
was,
it?
yeah.
I know that.
My Simlish.
Is that the
I think
language?
so. I think it's called
I
Simlish.
think you
Anyway,
just made it up.
peak of the week, Saz.
Week, good a week. Well, I went for dinner with one of my old colleagues who, like, I'm sure most people have got like a work mum, and Sandy is her name. She was like my work mum, but she retired a couple of months ago, so it's been really sad without her. Um, and I really missed her. So I went round hers for dinner on Monday, and it was so cute. Like me and one of my other colleagues, who's my friend as well, Emily, she came with me, and Sandy had made us like a starter, like a oh
Three
my
course
God.
meal.
Yeah, a three-course meal, but the starter was like a picky, like nibbly board with like fruit and veggies and nuts and hummus and crackers, and it was just so like well thought out.
Such a mum thing
It
to
was
do.
so nice. And then the main was a curry, and the dessert was like this really delicious like chia seed pudding thing and all these fruits, and she'd made like a blueberry sauce for it, and it just was really sweet. And then I had leftovers for lunch. So I had curry for 2 days. I was like in the office bragging to everyone, like, I got Sandy's curry. And obviously she'd made everything vegan because she knows I'm vegan, and she's got a vegan son. So she had all these like tips and tricks and like things that she'd done. But yeah, it was just really thoughtful. And with my nan dying like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago now, isn't it? Oh my God, where is time going? She just gives like nan energy, like mum nan energy. So yeah, I felt very nurtured and it was very lovely. That was my peak.
Nice. Nice.
How about you?
My peak was actually getting to make Lego versions of ourselves for date night last
Think
week.
about that, you know,
It
that's
was
me.
actually so much fun. We spent so much time in that Lego store
Oh, it was
as
fun.
well. It was fun.
There's basically like a section in the middle where there's like, a tray full of heads, a tray full of bodies, a tray full of like accessories, and you can pick, like one of each basically and make a little person, and then you can just buy it and take it home.
Yeah.
And I did it with my sister-in-law and my niece and my nephew a year ago, and I was like, do you know who else would love this? My
Me.
30-year-old boyfriend.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, we went and did that for dinner. It was fun, wasn't
It
it?
was so much
You just
fun.
go into like a little, I don't know, like you're in like a little, it's so nostalgic. You just go straight back into like giddy and like playful and look at this one and
100%.
like getting creative, and it's like your inner child just fully like comes straight back out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it really nurtured my inner child, so
Yeah, I
it
felt
was
the
good.
same. From the outside, people probably like weirdos.
Mm.
Like, we don't
Papaya?
give up.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, my papaya.
Papaya, papaya.
So this morning I'm like, where the hell's all my socks? Like I have no socks and I have like 6 pairs of the same socks and all of them are gone except for 1 pair.
Mm.
And then I remember the story that Lewis has told me about the day before. So our laundry machine's broken. So we have to go outside to a laundrette. And so Lewis took our laundry to the laundrette
Oh my God.
and like came home for half an hour and then went back again because it's only like a couple of minutes away.
Yeah.
And then, well, you tell the
Oh my
story.
God, I got that. Okay, so I got back to this laundrette, went to the machine that I put all of our laundry in, and I was like, who the fuck has stolen my clothes? There's
Didn't you say
nothing's in
that out
there.
loud as
Yeah, I
well?
said it out loud. And this woman just this like maybe woman in her like late 50s turned around, gasped, and then put her hands over her mouth and was like, oh my God, was that your stuff? I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, I've mixed it in with my laundry. I don't know I'm washing my son's laundry at the moment with his stuff and the baby stuff and his wife's stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So where is it? She was like, oh, it's in the dryer. I was like,
Oh my God.
okay. So how long's left in the dryer? Oh, just 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I'll just wait. I was like, oh, I'll happily give you money for drying the clothes, blah, blah, blah. She was like, no, you will not do that. You will not do that. I made this silly mistake. So anyway, we ended up going through 2 big loads of laundry, and I was almost certain I got every bit, but evidently not.
No, 5 pairs of socks are gone, RIP. And then, yeah, I'm driving to work and like, ding, you've been sent $20. I'm like, what? Did you just send me $20? You're like, yeah, to buy new socks.
Get yourself some new socks there, glove.
I did. I bought myself 5 new pairs of socks today. So really, I am the winner here. Thank you,
You
lady.
you are the winner.
What's your papaya?
My papaya is I was on a job on Saturday. I think I sent it to you actually. I was on a job on Saturday out in Helensvale. It was a big mansion, and I don't always go to mansions, by the way. Um,
Why would they think you do?
because I've mentioned mansions quite a few times. Anyway,
You're just like gloating.
I'm not. Um, I was in this mansion. I was packing up some furniture, and I looked out to the back garden. I was like, that looks interesting. And what do I find? Shrek's outhouse slash
Oh
toilet
yeah.
in the middle of the bush. I was like, what is this doing here? Bearing in mind, this is a really nice place. Why have they got Shrek's
I forgot about that.
toilet in the back garden? Honestly, I burst out laughing.
And that's like your favorite film as well,
I
or one
love
of,
Shrek.
yeah.
I could rattle off the whole film word by word. Anyway, I found that really funny. That was my
Yeah, I forgot
papaya.
you sent me that
It
video.
really made me laugh.
I was confused too, but I thought there was going to be more of a story behind it.
Yeah, but no.
But no.
I should have went in to go have a look, see what's in it,
Oh
but
my God, imagine it was like fully kitted out like Shrek's house.
oh
The
my
wolf's in
God.
the bed, like,
Oh my God. What?
fine.
Anyway, that was mine.
You're gonna ask me what my pineapples are.
What's your pineapples, darling?
Pineapples are gratefuls, in case
They are
anyone's wondering.
gratefuls.
I'm really grateful that I got to see my best friend and her husband last weekend.
Yep, they were up for the weekend.
Yeah, it was so cute. It was so wholesome. Um, yeah, it was a really special weekend. And I'm really grateful that I got to surf last week. The surf's just been so on and off, but I managed to go on a Tuesday morning because I had a late client visit. So it was just like, yes, great way to start your day before work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for afternoon naps. Like I came home from work sick on Thursday, got to have a nap, napped on Saturday, napped on Sunday. Like I'm just here for the naps,
Queen
just
nap.
like in recovery mode, you know?
Yeah, you are. It's really hit you hard, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's knocked me for 6.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. What's your gratefuls or your pineapples?
Okay, so I'm grateful for the job I've got to, although I've pretty much been not slating it, but I've been saying it's been quite demanding. I am very grateful for it. Um, I'm grateful for you, darling, forever being a pillar of unity and solidarity in my life.
Even if I'm just napping all the time
Even if you
and
are
like
queen
not
napper.
walking the dogs.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And my last one, having the awareness that actually catch my thoughts as they arise, like, and deal with the emotions, pretty much what we've spoken about. So I've been working on this for quite a while, and it was actually only today I sat back and realized I was like, do you know what? I've actually came so far. I'm really proud of myself for it. So I'm grateful for
Oh,
me.
good. That's nice. Yeah,
Mhm.
when do you ever say you're grateful for yourself? Nice one. I'm stealing that next week.
Okay.
Oh,
Plum. What's your plum? Last one.
plum is what are you most looking forward to for the week? Or what? No, what are your hopes or intentions?
What are your hopes or intentions for this week?
Well, I've got my first rostered day off on Friday.
There you
So
go.
basically, like I now work an extra half an hour a day, and I get a whole day off, extra day off a month. So it's extra 12 days of leave a year. So I'm like, fuck yeah. And like for the last 3 weeks, I've been kicking myself for that extra half an hour. Like it's been so painful. I'm like, I don't even want a stupid day off. Like this half an hour, I could be on my way home now because like it takes me an hour to get home. But now that it's the week of my RDO, I'm like smug as fuck. I'm like, yeah, I'm off on Friday. Fuck yous all. Because like not many people, no one in my team has like arranged it yet or is like able to apply because they haven't been there long enough and stuff. So my manager's got it and then I'm the first one. So I'm like, I'm just, yeah, I'm gloating. I'm like, I'm so happy. So yeah, I just want to have a really nice, chilled, wholesome day. And also you're going to take the day off as well.
I am going to take the day
And
off.
we're just going to like catch up with each other and life because yeah, we felt a bit distant, haven't we?
Yeah, we haven't really hung out for
We've
a
been
while.
with lots of people, haven't we? But
Yeah.
not just you and I. Obviously, we still do date night every Thursday religiously.
We have spent a lot, like bits of intentional time together, but we haven't like hung out.
Yeah, just
Okay.
us.
Just us for a bit. So I'm excited for that.
It's funny because some of our friends think we spend too much time together. I'm like, are you fucking
Yeah,
kidding?
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, so I say some. There's one friend that has said this to me. But like, I'm just like, oh my God, do you see our schedule? Like we have to schedule in date night on a Thursday in case we don't see each other. Monday night is podcast night. Wednesday learning. Tuesday I'm out anyway.
Tuesday you're training. Wednesday we're doing either dedicated to learning, studying, or
Something.
do more podcast stuff.
Bearing in mind, like before we like when we get home from work, we've got to walk the dogs and like sort dinner. So by the time we actually stop to even hang out any evening, it's like 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, we're like,
and we go to bed at 8.
Okay, might as well go to bed.
Yeah.
So we hang out in bed for half an hour and then go to sleep.
Yeah, literally.
So,
why did we get onto that? Oh, because I talked about my roster day
RDO.
off, and it's going to
RDO.
be nice because you're going to.
Yep.
We've decided that my roster day off that I get paid to do because I've worked for it. You're just going to take
Yeah, I'm just going to take a sick day.
unpaid every
Yeah,
month.
so
There might be a bit of a trend if your boss looks at your sick leave.
yeah.
For fourth Friday.
Yeah. Or just listens to this podcast and they're like, I
Yeah.
didn't notice a trend.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Anyway, what's your plan? What are you looking forward
My
to?
plum's actually, yeah, pretty much the same, having 2 days off.
Ah, well, you'll have 3.
I will have 3, yeah.
Friday,
So
Saturday,
I'm
Sunday.
excited for that.
You're not working this Saturday, are you?
No, I'm not. I've been breaking myself the past 2 weeks.
Just trying to get ourselves back on our feet financially, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just
that hit of Bali 2.5-month holiday that we didn't want.
working those extra hours and like overtime. I've worked a bit of overtime as well, and
not taking your lunches.
And not taking lunches. It's just been a lot. So
anyway, it feels like we're just complaining heaps, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you think we're cynical?
No, we've just had a really challenging year.
Yeah.
And we're just humans.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Anyway, that is us.
Love you guys.
Love Peter.
I think you were trying to say peace and love.
I was going to say peace and love, but
like Pete and Lorraine or something. Pete and Lorraine. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you so bloody much. You are the best.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on Apple or Spotify, whatever you prefer. And don't forget to check out the Instagram page at TDHR Podcast.
Information on how you can write your questions into us will also be in the show notes. Till next time. Mwah.